Alrighty, welcome to the 161st edition of the MMA Circus here on BloodyElbow.com and live on YouTube. My name's Nick Baldwin. He is Andrew the Clown Kid Lawrence, and as always, we are your hosts for today. Andrew, it hasn't been 1 week, it hasn't been two, it has been 3 weeks.
You see, my favorite
of not being on the show. How are you doing?
My favorite thing to do is like just when you start getting hope that I'm going to be consistently hosting, because I was on a nice little streak, then I was like, nah, I'm not showing up for 3 weeks. Really, my whole hosting schedule is just to prey on your emotional state.
Well, I'm not sure how much this has affected me emotionally, I'm not going to lie.
I think it's affecting you deeply.
You don't know me too well.
You just got some like deep passive-aggressive tweets going on all this week. I see it.
Do I?
No,
I don't know.
No, just fucking around.
Yeah.
I changed up the angle of the camera. You like it, people?
I actually didn't
Chime
notice. What was it like before?
Oh, it's just a different angle, B. It's just you see the bar.
Good.
You get Bowser up there. Boop boop.
We see Bowser. We see the alcohol. We still see the beard. We see your hair. So all's good.
Plus we got books now. You know that I'm a learned fellow.
You know, we know, I should say, you haven't touched those for 10 years. Those are dusty as hell.
Well, you know what you do with books? You read them, and then usually just like kind of put them away, wait for someone
I guess I suppose I shouldn't be talking.
Because you don't know what a book is. When's the last time you read a book?
Earlier this year, actually, February.
When was the last time you read a book that wasn't assigned to you by a teacher?
A long time ago.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weather. Has spring arrived?
Dude, it was almost like too hot today.
Really?
Yeah, man. It was like 75 in the middle of the day. I was wearing, just like a sweatshirt. That's what it's not like a sweatshirt. It's a little nicer. I'm kind of a classy dude.
You got a zipper, and it looks good.
That's like a Winnipeg version of a classy. Like, this one's got a zipper, though.
I feel like a sweatshirt without a zipper is just like you rolled out of bed, where if it has a zipper...
Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
You kind of do, I think.
You definitely made less than $100 that day if you were wearing a hoodie without a zipper on it.
Correct. Unless you're Luke Thomas and work from home, and because he does his morning or his live chat sometimes wearing a hoodie like that, and so.
Yeah, no, I might be sub $100 a day.
Could be. maybe that's lazy money.
Those are the days he's not making $100. He spruces up with the suit and the tie for the days where he has to collect the paycheck.
Perhaps. I'm DM'd you the other day because it was Fahrenheit like 10 degrees or 15 degrees warmer in Winnipeg than Brooklyn. I was like, haha, here's Winnipeg for you. Told you we're not an Arctic tundra, and we're back to 42 degrees Fahrenheit now.
Isn't that just like brutal? It's really like heartbreakingly brutal.
Yeah, considering it's 7 p.m. and it was cloudy today, that's not terrible. The past couple days have actually been really warm. Like, I think over the weekend we reached maybe even the 70s, and so I ain't complaining.
That's like 21 degrees to be in the 70s. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You have to be above 21 degrees Celsius to be in the 70s Fahrenheit.
For April, May, that's not terrible. 21's not terrible.
Okay, well, that's...
But I mean, the Arctic tundra will come back by September, so we don't have too much to enjoy this.
Basically, last note on weather, Brooklyn right now, consistently 65, occasionally 75. And, we're having like a rainy day every week, maybe 2. It
hasn't rained here yet. We completely skip over the whole April showers thing.
Yeah, man, April showers. Now you're not going to have your May flowers.
And then we're just going to go back to Arctic tundra in like June or something.
Be awesome if like as soon as July 15th hits, it snows in Winnipeg.
That would be the most confusing thing ever. But it really shouldn't be, because of course it's going to snow in July.
It's going to happen. You just submit yourself to it. It'll melt away soon enough.
I hope it snows when I come to Brooklyn or Vegas.
Aren't you coming to Brooklyn like in the middle of the summer?
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
We just
snow. It's like
gonna snow on July 15th. You can't say it's
Yeah, in Winnipeg, which
middle.
would happen regularly.
No, what I'm saying, I hope to leave Winnipeg when it does snow here in the middle of summer.
Oh, now I'm understanding.
There you go, Andrew Lawrence. You've been off for a couple of weeks. We got to get your brain flowing again.
No, let's not get too high. It wasn't like you were completely clear or anything like that. So
fair enough.
This is a clarity issue, not an understanding issue.
I guess we should probably talk a little MMA. Not a whole lot.
We can talk some MMA.
Very little is going on. We had a big Bellator card this past weekend. We had no UFC. But again, this is the thing. No UFC this past weekend or this weekend is literally the greatest thing ever. I did stuff over the weekend. I haven't done stuff on a weekend for so long. It's nice. People who want UFC every weekend, I feel bad for you. Honest to God.
You have a mental disease if you want a UFC card every weekend. Good Lord. But here's another awesome thing. It gives room for other promotions to breathe, Let a Fedor versus Mir thing happen. Didn't seem like Bellator was such a much bigger deal. They timed it on a Saturday. It was on an off night. A bunch of weird shit happened. It was great times.
And Ryzen this weekend, I believe it's Ryzen FF10. That's probably the biggest card this whole weekend. When can you say that about a Ryzen card? As much as I love Ryzen, it usually directly follows a big UFC pay-per-view. At least some of their more marquee cards that I've actually stayed up for, it's right after. Like there was a card right after Jones Cormier 2 last summer. There is a card right after, New Year's Eve or right before it. And so I kind of like that Ryzen is all by itself this weekend.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Starts at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. And, you can buy it on Fight TV. I think it's $20 for people who are curious about Ryzen.
Is it worth staying up for?
There'll be full coverage on MiddleEasy.com.
The main event is fantastic. We'll talk about it a little bit later because we wanted to go in chronological order and talk about Bellator first. But the main event is Kyoji Horiguchi versus Ian McCall, which is a fantastic fight. One that Horiguchi's probably should win, but nevertheless should be entertaining. Is the rest of the card, from what you have seen, worth this staying up for?
This card, while being really good, it's a 12-fight card, which is typical for a Risen length. It's very good for people who have been watching Risen. What it is lacking is kind of like a hook freak show fight, in my opinion. There just isn't a great freak show weird fight in this one. So that's disappointing, and you kind of always want that. And you always want one of the old legends to be there. There's really no old legend showing up this time.
Other than Kyoji Horiguchi, who will be an old legend eventually.
Yeah, but Gucci's the main star, the main attraction, typically the main event for them. Tensions fighting in a kickboxing fight in the co-main. The girl Kana, I think she won that atom weight thing that they did. She's going. Yachi's in there. Derek Cruikshank's fighting. Other than that, it's a lot of a lot of regular faces we know from the Risen way. There's two big heavyweights fighting that I don't know, but they're both undefeated and they're both massive. So that'll be kind of fun.
Is that the only heavyweight fight? Because I saw an article today that was talking about Ryzen. This card is featuring a couple heavyweight fights. Is it just the one? Are you there?
What you said, but you said something about heavyweight. There's two heavyweight fights on the card. They're all deep in the undercard, so you'll catch them early.
Okay. I got most of that. Did I just go out into oblivion for a second?
Yeah, I just went into robot land for a little. Sure didn't hear what you said. Just kind of guessed. I just thought, what would Nicholas say in a situation like this, and answered that question.
Well, our connection really isn't very good. It must be the Winnipeg clouds, or if you're not telling me something about the Brooklyn weather, I don't know what's going on. But hopefully this doesn't keep up. Yeah, you're raising to the Wi-Fi, hoping to make it better.
I'm praying to the Wi-Fi gods. Oh, you know who else is fighting in this is Nap or Cape, the
Manel
the dude
Cape,
who beat Ian McCall and was the big heel of the last New Year's tournament. This really is a place card holder for Risen. I really like a lot of the fights on it. I'm super excited for it, but this isn't a card that I would say, hey guys, this is the one that's going to sell you on who Risen is. No.
Bellator has
this really is for a Japanese audience right now.
Bellator has their fair share of tentpole cards for casual fans, basically, and that's what Risen's big cards are like. And this is just another UFC fight night.
Yeah, I'm pumped about Risen though. I like it. The energy's fun. You're up really late at night. It's always such a fucking scene, and it always seems to be bigger than the sum of its parts. Whereas I think that, in particular, the pacing of a UFC card makes it, equal exactly the sum of its parts. Like every half hour has to deliver in a UFC card, and for that matter, also for a Bellator card. Let's talk about this. If as a segue into Bellator, how absurd is it that the Bellator main card, which is 5 fights long, goes on for 3 hours? Doesn't that seem absurdly long to you?
Especially when 4 of them were first round finishes and the other was a second round finish. Yep. Yeah.
Mind-numbingly painful to just for how much stretching is involved in this. Why aren't you condensing that? If you're Bellator, there's going to be squash matches, and you could save some time. You could probably get that card done in 2 hours, and then it's like an action-packed product for people instead of like a thing that was like, that was cool, and then we sat around for 40 minutes. That was awesome, and then we just fucking twiddle our thumbs for a bit.
I PVR'd Bellator and watched it after. It was fantastic because I just quickly watched Dylan Dennis get the job done, watch the Gracie brother, watch whoever came after that, watch Manuel Sanchez quickly. Not the Gracie brother, but the 105th.
Neiman gets to know, the 105th cousin, the great grandmother.
Yeah. And then finally watch Fedor get the job done. And so I was done the card in like 45 minutes. It was great.
Yeah, God, I wish. Honestly, that's how I used to, and that's how I typically watch Bellator, via like a DVR, if I watch it at all. So fantastic, just to to always condense that. I like that move. If you're ever going to watch a fight night, particularly like one that starts at 10 at night and has the 6-card main event, the FS1 style true fight nights, I always suggest start those fights an hour and a half into it, so you can DVR. As you're playing catch up to everyone else, you'll probably be caught up by like 10:30 or 11 anyway. It's a really good way to kind of, still maintain a life, take your wife out, go do whatever errands you need to do with your life, and still catch all the MMA that you want.
There you go. Let's recap Bellator 198 a little bit. We'll focus on the main event. Heavyweight GOAT, whatever you want to call him, Fedor Emelianenko gets the job done, returns to the win column with a first-round knockout of former UFC fighter Frank Mir. What did you make of this? Were you surprised? I picked Fedor, but you couldn't pick this fight with confidence on either side. You pick Fedor, it's like he could get knocked out in the first round. You picked Mir, he could get knocked out in the first round. They went out and kind of just slugged it out. I don't think they either looked very good. Does that make sense? Yes, both guys are old. Both guys are past their prime. Was it entertaining for a while at last? Sure. And is it nice to see Fedor back in the winning column? Yes, it is.
I bet money on Fedor to win this fight. As bad as he has looked since his first retirement, I know this is like asking people to really remember, but Fedor a while back did retire, and then he came back for Risen, actually. Risen, I think, was his first comeback fight. Might have been N1 Global. Shit, I can't remember. But anyway, it was Ryzen. I think he beat up Jaydeep Singh.
There you go.
Which is just a squash match of all squash matches. Then he went to M1 and lost a fight, and then he did another one, and he lost to the legend. No, he won. Quote, I'm putting up air quotes.
That wasn't on the audio version. Fight Night Global.
Shit. Okay. Well, those are all the same thing. All Russian promotions to be like generic Russian promotion. Go. So to see Fedor in a fight that was, let's get this straight as well. All of those losses that he had, and he's on kind of, I don't know. We can't truly call it a skid because I guess there's wins mixed in there. But to me, he was clearly on a losing skid, right? Because you're going to call that Fabio Maldonado a win, but it's not. He got beat the hell up. And then Matt Mitrione kind of clowned him a little bit. To see him being in an exciting fight, and he was in exciting fights. Even the Maldonado fight, when he got, kind of the floor wiped him, was kind of super entertaining, and he went for it. And that it was kind of awesome to watch. you know, for him to be in an exciting fight, for Fedor to be able to take a shot, recover. Now, granted, it was a shot from Fedor-Mir. It wasn't like, you know, a shot from, you know, a sniper or anything. But recover and win like that with an impressive knockout and a finish was fantastic. I was so thoroughly entertained watching this.
Where do you think Fedor Emelianenko goes from here? Well,
to Chael Sonnen, baby, right? Yeah. To Chael Sonnen.
I don't know why I just.
Which is another fight he can win, which is amazing to me.
The fact that Fedor will be probably in the Bellator Grand Prix heavyweight finals is just crazy.
That's when you properly have seeded your tournament. Scott Coker, you know, thinking like a fox here. He really did set it up so that he could get the most out of this tournament.
People lately have been sort of calling Scott Coker out a little bit. I saw someone tweet out today. I forget who it was. I don't even remember if it was like a media member or just a fan, but because of the ratings, like the ratings for this card wasn't terrific considering it was Fedor versus Mir. I think 15,000. It's not great, not terrible.
Well, no, you gotta add in the audience from the country music station. So there 750,000 people watched it live.
Okay, so nonetheless, I know
which isn't great. It's still not great.
No. Some people have been calling out Scott Coker for not doing the best job lately, and here, I think with these seedings, even though when this was first all announced, I think if I was doing it, I would have done it. You know, my choices would have been a little different. Hey, having Fedor in the finals, that is a good move from Scott Coker and Bellator and the people over at Viacom. So I think it's good.
The real mistake here, Nicholas, was that the opening round, the 4 fights that comprised the opening round, were all done on the same night, or at least do 2 of them. Or even this idea, do them. If you want to have, I know you're trying to milk the most out of these events, milking ticket sales, and you're trying to make events happen and just create content, and you don't have that many pieces on, and you just, I don't know, that's not a good analogy. You don't have too many tools in your shed. You got to space them out here. Why not do it so that there are 2 weeks between every single fight, so that the tournament itself gains momentum and enthusiasm, and when people are buzzing off of an awesome fight like this, they're then excited, and that transfers over to the next fight. Now the next fight we're looking for and waiting for is what? Fucking King Mo versus Ryan Bader. And when is that happening? Don't know. Who's connected to the card besides those 2? Don't know. Where is it happening? Don't know.
Feel way more like regular fights.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just like this weird tournaments, almost like a marketing ploy that we don't believe. And then we got the alternate bouts slid in there with Mirko Cro Cop. I'm dying for Mirko to win that fight, for Chael Sonnen to get paid like $100,000 to get an injury or something. And let's see Fedor against Cro Cop. God damn it. Let's see what Bellator, you got one job. If we want to see a fight that you're able to make, you better fucking make it. And that's why them not making that MVP fight against Paul Daly MVP is a tragedy against man. I blame a pox upon Scott Coker's house for not making that happen.
Well, you know that Ryan Bader will beat King Mo. He'll probably beat Matt Mitrione, and then he'll get hurt. Matt Mitrione will drop him, rock him, cut him up, whatever. And then Mirko Cro Cop will fill in for Ryan Bader, fight Fedor in the finals, and that is what this Bellator tournament's all about. Fedor, Cro Cop 2 in the heavyweight Grand Prix finals. You can't script that any better.
Nicholas, you might have the plan. I was thinking that Chael was going to take this.
Finals. You were thinking no.
Well, because ultimately, I think they wanted to give the rub to Ryan Bader. For whatever reason, they're trying to make like Ryan Bader a thing, which is just a silly thing to do, because everyone who's an actual MMA fan knows that Ryan Bader gets wiped up with any 205er in the UFC that's elite. So there's like 3 205ers who eat Ryan Bader's lunch.
Yeah. Remember when Ryzen was trying to do Wanderlei Silva Cro Cop like 3 or 4 or whatever, just pretty recently, like last year in their light heavyweight tournament or heavyweight tournament, and they were trying to do it for like the semifinals. That was such a mistake. I know, Wanderlei got hurt or whatever.
The tournament gets weird, so you kind of just at some point have to be like, just make this fight, because who knows what's going to happen with these crazy old dudes. You know what I mean?
That's definitely what their thinking was, but how cool would it have been for Wanderlei to fight Cro Cop in the finals? But what you going to do?
For the biggest trophy you ever fucking seen.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Anything else from Bellator? Emmanuel Sanchez looked really good. He's on a 4-fight winning streak. He is one of Bellator's best featherweights. I think that's very fair to say. We have Patricio Pitbull defending the title in July against Daniel Weichel in Rome, of all places. That'll be a lot of fun. The rematch, of course. Emmanuel Sanchez has to fight the winner, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, he was impressive here, and he's on a little bit of a streak. Yeah, I mean, you beat San Cecilia. It's okay, cool, man.
He
great.
beat Daniel Strauss before. Don't forget about that. That's a big Bellator.
That's the bigger win. That's a bigger win, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I rate Strauss way higher than Sam Cecilia. I think that Strauss, on any given day could win the title. And he beat Galvalio before that, didn't he?
Another big win. This guy, he's gotten some good. He has a good resume.
I don't know if there's anyone else bigger at 145 pounds that he can beat, except for with the Pitbull brother.
No, nobody.
Yeah, not in Bellator at least, right? Let me pop him open and see what else we got on his record. He beat Georgie Karkarian too. Yep. Justin Lawrence. He beat Justin Lawrence. It's like
beat Henry Corrales, who is a good bad Bellator featherweight.
You know what? Like the only other better featherweights probably out there in the world are signed to the UFC,
other than Weichel and Pitbull.
Other than Pitbull, of course, yeah. So yeah, you're right. I think at this point we'd be silly not to put Sanchez up against Pitbull or the winner of. I always assumed Pitbull's fighting Strauss. It happened only like 18 times.
I'm sure it will happen 18 times. It hasn't quite reached that number, but by the time we're done with the show, by the time we're done with life and all, washed up and practically dead, I'm sure Pitbull and Strauss will have fought more than 18 times. Let's talk about Nick Newell. So we talked about Nick Newell right after his LFA victory, his return fight last March, just a couple months ago, less than 2 months ago. And he got the first-round submission win at LFA over Sonny Luque. Looked really impressive. Some people did question, of course, the level of competition he had fought. But nonetheless, I think that was a good fight for him. Gets him back to the winning column, gets him back on track, gives him some momentum, gives him a spotlight and a place where he can talk and sort of call his shots a little bit. So he is headed over to Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series this summer. Opponent, date, time, all of that. The specifics are to be determined, but he will be fighting on the Contender Series this summer, one fight away from a UFC call. Was this the right move for Nick Newell? Should he have to go through the Contender Series as a lightweight, as a 14-1 lightweight, only lost to current UFC contender Justin Gaethje, or do you think he should have been directly signed to the UFC?
I truly don't give a fuck, man. Everyone always went, should he have had to do this? Should he have done this? Should he have? Does he deserve? Like, what kind of fucking weird planet do you all live in? Like, that isn't the world that I live in, because this sport of MMA to me has always been ran by mafioso men, and what you've earned and deserved, no one's ever gave a fuck about ever. So what kind of nonsense comes through people's mouths? It's like, this guy deserved to be deserved. When has that ever factored into any of it? Ben Askren deserves to. Are you a fucking moron? Just like, stop. Like, so enough with the deserved argument. I'm kind of pumped that he's going to the, Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. I like the format of the show. I think that it's entertaining. I think that it's a lot more consumable. I think that it's a better way and a more high-profile way to get your name out than to have him fight on the undercard of some random fucking fight night in Des Moines, Iowa. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people. Oh, they're going to put him on a Contender Series. Oh, they're going to put him on a television show that's going to be nationally televised. It's not going to be on the web anymore. It's going to end up on their next partner's television screens. It's going to be a big deal because it'll be on season 1 of it. When people actually watch, they're going to put together a package telling you about his backstory and all the adversity that he's done, overcome. They're going to have highlight reels and all of this great shit. That's just not going to exist if they put him on some random undercard in a fight night. You know what I mean?
That's a fair point. I think that's a good point to make. And I think that's something not a lot of people are thinking about. I mean, I generally feel like Nick Newell deserves the UFC call-up. I don't think he should have to go through the next best thing or the next closest thing, but it probably won't hurt because you know that they're going to give him a opponent in which he should be able to beat, a favorable stylistical matchup for him. They're not going to make it tough on him, I don't think, on this trial fight, so to speak. And so he'll probably
hell no.
win.
They should probably give him some beast. They should give him someone equally as talented as he is. Let's see
Why
fucking
though?
fights. Who gives a shit, man?
But the thing is, I feel like Nick Newell has some potential to draw some non-MMA fans.
Yeah.
Is he ever going to be a top contender or a
No.
big star? No, of course not. His ceiling is very clear. We don't know what it is, but it's there. We know he has a
I'd say
ceiling.
it's around the top 10, top 15.
Sure, maybe even lower, to be honest.
Yep, maybe. Especially in that division. We know there's a lot of great 155 pounders.
But the whole idea of, hey, here's this successful UFC fighter without an arm, you should probably tune in to this, I think can actually draw some eyeballs. So I think Nick Newell's someone the UFC wants, and so going through this extra step for them doesn't make sense. I think so. I think there's pros and cons to it. There is to everything in life, though. Sort of just have to deal with that. I think, though, the fact that he's going on Contender Series will people will learn about him, even though the average person doesn't have Fight Pass. So that kind of it sort of ruins this whole point or idea. But he'll have more hype coming off Contender Series. There are some fans that just watch UFC, and therefore they'll have Fight Pass, and therefore they'll probably watch Contender Series too. So they'll learn who this guy is, and it'll just feel bigger if Newell fights on Contender Series, then gets signed to the UFC. That'll feel bigger. They might put him on a Fight Night main card. They might put him in some Fight Pass show, co-main event even. But otherwise, making his debut on the Fight Pass early prelims against whoever, it's not going to do much for either party, Newell or the UFC.
Skip the Contender Series, put him in right as a title contender against Khabib, baby.
That wouldn't go so well. I don't think. I really don't think so.
Yeah, neither do I.
One thing I want to talk about, kind of sort of off the whole, this is what we're supposed to talk about, this is what we usually talk about on the show. Nico Montano and Ariel Helwani are, well, not going at it. Ariel Helwani of MMA Fighting hasn't responded, as, professionally, I guess he shouldn't. But Nico Montano, the UFC Women's Flyweight Champion, went off on the on Ariel this morning, I believe it was in an Instagram post. So last night, Ariel Helwani had sent out a tweet, a little report saying UFC is getting a little frustrated with Nico Montano. She's not, committing to a fight date and yada, 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 almost alluding to this might be Jermaine Durandamy 2.0. He never did say, he never said
actually,
Nico,
okay. Well, actually, someone tweeted at him like, yeah, this is like Jermaine Durandamy all over again. He was like, yes, it's very reminiscent of that situation.
Yeah,
so he kind of did say
that's why. No, I said he said that. He never said though that Nico Montano was scared or anything like that. He kept it. I think he kept it where he should. Now that we're talking about this, I might as well just bring up the tweet and read word for word what he did say.
This always highly entertaining part of the podcast where we wait 15 seconds for Nicholas to find a tweet.
With Nico Montano. As I reported last week, the plan was for her to defend the 125 title against Valentina Shevchenko in Calgary, but they are having a hard time getting a commitment from her. While it's not scrapped, they're looking at other options. And so Nico Montano took big offense to this and responded to him, said a lot of nasty things. I wanted to get your take on this as a guy who is part of the MMA media, but not like in Middle East on the very, I don't know how to describe it. It's like left-wing MMA media or right-wing MMA. I don't know. But it's definitely not like right in the middle where let's keep everything professional, so to speak. What is your take on all what happened?
I think that right. Ariel Helwani made a mistake here. He did fuck up. And if he doesn't want to acknowledge that he fucked up a little bit, I'm not saying that, what he did was egregious or that, everyone should we should call for his head and he should be fired. He's a fucking UFC shill. No, but he did fuck up. He commented on the situation willfully. Like, no one asked him, like, hey, what's going on with Nico Montano? He offered this information up to the people as a story, as a journalist, saying, like, hey, this is what's going on with the women's flyweight title picture. You know, they're trying to make this fight, and the UFC is frustrated by it. But he offered that information without having all the facts. Those facts were publicly available. It was very easy to go on her Instagram, look at what she's been up to. You know, I know that he said he reached out to her people and that they said that they weren't taking any interviews right now, you know, because she was recovering from surgery. But, you know, it is on Ariel to dig into figure out, you know, if there is a story, especially if there's a story that's publicly out there. And especially in a case like this where the fans knew it. Like, fans are correcting you. So if you're in the position where fans are correcting you as a professional journalist on what's going on with a fighter, then you fucked up and didn't do your due diligence on a story. Is it that big of a deal? Honestly, I don't see what the fucking big deal is, because honestly, it does kind of seem like she's ducking the fight a little bit. I know she just had tonsil surgery and she had some weird infection before that, and she's been having things that are wrong with her. But just the whole radio silence thing and in her whole attitude and posture towards the Valentina Shevchenko fight from day one, you know, plays into the narrative that she's ducking this fight. So I don't think it was a crazy thing to say. I don't think it was so fucking out of line. But he fucked up, and he should go on the, you know, and he should just be man enough to be like, yeah, I fucked up a little bit here. So my bad.
I'm not sure he has. I went on Montano's Instagram before doing the show, and I didn't see. Is there a post I'm completely missing that was very blatant? Like, this is what's going on?
Yeah. I'll bring one up and I'll find it. You're gonna have to. Now I'm gonna have to wait 15 seconds.
Yes, you hypocrite, Andrew Lawrence.
Well, I didn't offer this. I said that I'd research it for you, so it's different.
Somehow it does come around back to me, and I'm to blame for both.
For sure.
So what did she say and when?
I don't have it. Give me a fucking second here, brother. Talk amongst yourselves while I do this, okay?
Well, this weekend I plan on going to the beach.
No, stop. Immediately stop.
Okay. Maybe we should
talk about MMA.
Silence for 5 minutes. Or
no, let's
take
MMA.
A moment of silence for, I don't know, for something.
Okay. Wow. You're just like, it's shocking to me sometimes how long you've done the radio.
Imagine if I hosted this show by myself. I would just be sitting here mumbling away to myself.
Yeah, because no one would listen.
And I'd have no one to talk to, so I'd just be like twiddling my fingers. Have you found it?
No, I will tell you when I find it.
Okay, let's assume
I will offer that information to you.
Okay. My thing with this is Helwani might have been able to dig a little deeper than he did, but at the end of the day, I don't think Nico Montano comes off as looking good here, because let's be honest, she keeps saying, well,
she comes out looking awesome. She fucking flame roasted and lit Ariel Helwani's ass on fire, and everyone's laughing at him like a clown. It's awesome.
That is a W in a way, but I still kind of think she comes off as a bit of a jerky, because I don't think Helwani did much wrong. Maybe he did. Maybe he did a little bit. Maybe he could have dug a little deeper.
Okay, but I genuinely just got up Nico Montano's social media, because I don't follow her, right? That's what's taken me the longest time here. Let's count from now how long it'll take me of research will it take me, because I just have it up now, to find out that she had her tonsils and adenoids removed without looking at the post that's the response to her.
Okay, well, anyways, as you do that, the thing is, I don't think Ariel did much wrong, and although Montano among the fans that don't like Ariel, because there are some out there just because of
okay, it took me that long, under a minute. 7 days ago. Oh my God, this is the longest post in the world. But this is the important, and everything looked healthy. However, my immune system is its own thing, and it's total crap right now, and it has been for the only years. It's most likely due to the 4 weight cuts in 5 months. My birth control was another problem. Blah 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 blah. So she's clearly detailing from 7 days ago all of her ailments and everything that she's going through, which includes strep, flu, an ear infection, and sinus infection. So she has a crashing immune system, and she's been trying to deal with that for the last few months, it seems like, from this post from 7 days ago. It took me less than a minute to find that post. So
I do suppose, yeah, after seeing that, I do suppose I sort of see what you're talking about. At the end of the day, I don't have a problem with Ariel saying this whatsoever, but he should have added a sentence, something like, Nika Montana, let's be honest, though, she just had her tonsils moved, all of this. This was 7 days ago. She is still recovering.
And the UFC knows she's having surgery. So the idea that he's reporting on the UFC being frustrated with her as a champion, and she's not, like, he created the narrative that Nika Montana is being a problem.
Maybe it's true. Maybe it is true.
But it's not, because the UFC knows that she had these surgeries. And she's
then it comes down to, who do you want to trust more?
No, it doesn't. It comes down to the fact that Ariel Helwani got it wrong. How did he not get it wrong?
Do you think the UFC does everything correctly 100% of the time? Do you think
what the fuck does that have to do with what I just said?
Okay, let's try and wrap our heads around.
No, let's wrap our head around this. I asked a very simple question. How did Ariel Helwani not get it wrong? And then you started talking about how the UFC doesn't do it properly 100% of the time.
Because Ariel Helwani didn't say anything wrong. Everything he said in that tweet was factually correct.
No, he didn't say it was factually correct. He said the UFC is frustrated with her inability to sign this fight. But the UFC knows she's injured. So what the fuck are we talking about? Okay,
so my point off of that is the UFC... There can be two sides to every story. That's sort of what I'm thinking here.
No, stop saying nonsense things and actually speak. Like, there's two sides to every story. It doesn't fucking make any stupid sense, dude.
What I'm trying to get at is that the UFC...
What are the sides in the story?
The UFC could know that she's injured, but still be frustrated. Is that not a possibility?
I mean, I'm nonsense. But then that's not the story. Then the story is this champion's injured, and that's why this fight can't be made. Like,
then maybe whoever Helwani's UFC source is,
or maybe that person should shut up. Sources, because he is a fucking journalist. You can't just listen to what a source says and go type. There's what my source said. No, you vet sources. This is what journalism is.
I don't know.
No, you do know. Like, that is what journalism is. That is not a part of it.
No, I know.
You cannot just report what a source says without confirming it. And he is always tooting that horn that he's always out there. I'm always confirming. I confirm with 3 and 4 people. So own up to this one. You fucked up, Ariel Helwani. Stand up and just be like, I fucked up. It's not that big a deal, really.
He could have addressed Montano's injury, but I don't think what he did.
Well, in hindsight, now that she's came at him with that information, he has to step up and say something. If not, that will be Ariel Helwani that will be a bigger deal than the fuck up.
But on the other hand, I don't think Montano comes off this looking great, because
no, she looks amazing. You're kidding yourself.
You've said that already. But the thing is, Helwani did maybe something wrong, but not deserving of this. I mean, she says a lot of bad stuff about him.
And what did she say that was so bad?
Well, she's basically accusing Helwani of saying that she's scared to fight, and she never said that. Not really even close.
Well, no, he definitely implied that narrative. Come on. He said it's looking like a Jermaine Durandamy situation. Come
on. Okay, so he says, but they're having a hard time getting a commitment. I mean, that could be for any reason. That doesn't have to.
No, but what about the person who tweets at him? This is like Jermaine Durandamy all over again. And he goes, yeah, it's kind of like that.
Jermaine Durandamy had that hand injury.
What, Nicholas, you are the worst arguer in the world. What the fuck does that have to do with anything of what we're saying right now?
Because Montano also has
Jermaine Durandamy, and the whole situation around that is, of course, the implication that this is a person who is ducking a fight at any cost, and the UFC is going to strip her because she's not willing to fight the challenger that they want, which is what happened with Jermaine Durandamy. Don't talk to me about some silly hand thing. She fought someone before Cyborg fought someone.
All right. Well, we should move on. All I want to say is I don't think Montano comes out looking great. She said a lot of nasty things.
She didn't say any nasty thing. You still can't name one nasty thing she actually said. You're bending over backwards to defend Ariel Helwani, but like you can't name an actual thing that Nico Montano said that was actually bad.
A lot of insulting words. I mean, she didn't.
What? Name an insulting word that she said.
Mr. Poor excuse of a man.
Oh my god, that's so terrible.
He has the balls the size of a baby. I mean, I sure, okay, we can be, kids here, but
those are bad. Those are not bad.
She also does get things factually. I mean, I don't blame her, but she says the UFC is looking for a new journalist, and obviously he doesn't work for the UFC.
But for sure, he's cashed a UFC paycheck, and he said that and admitted that himself.
He has, yeah. I don't believe he does now.
Well, so who gives a shit? That once the cows are out of the barn, there's no getting them back in.
We probably should have talked about this on the show.
Why? I can't believe how much you're willing to defend Ariel Helwani. You're just like a little corporate suck boy over here, man.
I'm just talking my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Your opinion's whack, though.
That's okay. We all have our opinions. You've had some crazy ones before.
Yeah, but this is just disappointing. Just disappointing. This is you supporting the man instead of supporting the people.
I'm not so sure about that.
I'm gonna post up on Middle Easy's Twitter account. Holler to all of our listeners. Go to Middle Easy on Twitter at Middle Easy and vote on the poll that I'm about to post. It is who comes out looking better from this, Nico Montano or Ariel Helwani? Who do you think is going to... How many points do you think I'm going to win by? I should phrase it that way.
Quite a few.
Okay, good. So you do understand in your deeper hearts of hearts.
I understand that the average fan, who probably isn't the biggest fan of Ariel, will definitely not defend him.
Well, hold on. The average fan is a huge fan of Ariel Helwani. Like, he's the most popular journalist in all.
These are also people on the Twitter of MiddleEasy.com, don't forget.
Well, we'll get some people to share it. These things diffuse out.
Get someone from MMA Fighting to retweet it and see where that goes.
Yeah, everyone picks it up. Everyone loves the easy.
All right, let's talk a little Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz reportedly is in talks with the UFC to come back in August.
Side with the UFC on this one too?
Will this actually happen? And if so, who should he fight?
Okay. Will it actually happen? I have a feeling it will happen. I think that Nate realized he overplayed his hand and lost all of his leverage. He needs to take a non-Conor fight at least, and he's got to win it. So, like, everyone's putting him in these hard-ass matchups that I don't really want to see because I just want to see Nate lose. I don't know why, why I want him protected, but I do in my heart of hearts. So I think it happens. Eddie Alvarez seems really likely, but I know there's all that messiness about his contract, and he always seems to want a payday, and Nate's going to want a payday, and when two people want to get paid.
Poirier rematch as well, so.
Yeah, when two people want to get paid, the UFC hates that shit.
I'd be down for Kevin Lee versus Nate Diaz.
Fuck yeah, that fight makes a lot of sense. That fight makes a lot of sense. It's a terrible fight that I don't want to see, actually.
Nate Diaz is the one guy, or is sort of the missing thing or missing piece of the lightweight fuzzy picture, because you have Khabib versus maybe Conor, and then you have Ferguson getting better, but then you have the contenders that want the title shot, Poirier, Alvarez, and Lee. Two of them are going to fight each other, but one doesn't have a dance partner. That dance partner, whether they do Poirier versus Alvarez or Poirier versus Lee or Alvarez versus Lee, who out of the three who doesn't have a fight should fight Nate Diaz.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'd rather they go with someone random who we're not expecting. Surprise the shit out of us with something awesome. Like have Korean Zombie fight him at 155 pounds. Whatever,
That'd be a lot of fun. Korean Zombie wants to fight Frankie Edgar, but yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Dog, if that doesn't happen, well, here's the real deal. They're going to wait until probably that title fight happens between Ortega and Holloway. If Holloway wins, they might do Frankie Hall. They might do actually the Korean Zombie against Edgar anyways. Just as one more fight to placehold him. And Frankie likes fighting a lot.
I don't think the Green Zombie wants back till like the end of the year, so it's gonna be tough because Edgar does like fighting a lot, but he should rest his brain. I mean, he did just get knocked out by Ortega before the Swanson fight, and so if they want to wait, I think ideally they do Edgar versus Green Zombie at MSG in November, and then the winner, I guess, fights the winner of Ortega Holloway.
You know, not to keep going back to this point about Nico and Ariel, but we have a story about it up on Middle Easy, and like every single comment about it is just straight shitting all over Ariel Helwani.
I'm not surprised.
People are falling in love. Honestly, has Nico Montano ever been talked about more positively than today? All Ariel had to do is put out that tweet, like, somewhat burying her, and she instantly became a fan favorite. Now everyone wants to see her beat Shevchenko.
I don't know. Maybe. Can
we talk about how Valentina Shevchenko isn't nearly as good as people give her credit for?
I disagree with that point. I think she's really good.
How? Based on what evidence?
Well, I don't need to prove that I think Valentina Shevchenko is a great fighter. I mean,
I'm just asking you why you think Valentina Shevchenko is a good fighter.
She arguably beat Amanda Nunes. I scored the fight for Nunes, but hey, that was a split decision. Could have gone Shevchenko's way.
Yo, I couldn't even score that fight because I fell asleep during it.
That's probably why you don't think Shevchenko's as good of a fighter as some people think.
She's boring, yo. She's not that dangerous. She's not a real finisher.
Well, when she's being reffed by Mary Yamasaki, that's true.
You're right.
Otherwise, she can.
In her squash matches, when she's in squash matches, she's really good at finishing people.
She tapped a Juliana Pena with a super cool submission in the second round or something. Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Okay, that was probably her most exciting fight ever. You're right. I kind of forgot about that.
I mean,
like Holly Holm fight, Jansville, Amanda Nunes fight, Jansville, Sarah Kaufman, Knapp. These were boring fights.
Yeah. But
that's her UFC career.
I said before we started talking how you thought, like, we were talking about Jed Meshew, who sometimes hosts the show a little bit, and I thought that you guys are so similar. Jed Meshew thinks she's the best fighter or female fighter on the planet. He thinks she would beat Chris Alberg in a fight.
No, see, Jed Meshew can't evaluate talent. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what's going on in the fight.
Maybe I'm just bringing, maybe you think I have all these terrible takes today because I've been talking to Jed Meshew for the past 2 weeks.
That's the problem.
That's nothing against Jed Meshew if you're listening, which you're not. But, some people out there don't think I have great takes. At least you don't, Andrew. So I'm still sticking by it.
I'm just absorbing that from the people,
Yeah,
Don't worry, Shevchenko's she's got a master of sports and boxing.
You are the voice of the casual MMA fan, and then I'm on the other side of that. Yes, you are.
No, I don't think I'm the voice of the I mean, I speak...
Not the casual MMA fan, but like the keyboard warrior type fan.
You're digging yourself a deeper hole now, motherfucker. No, I'm a person who keeps it real. I watch an absurd amount of MMA to be considered casual, but I actually speak and tolerate and deal with people in the real world who don't know MMA or who kind of cursely know MMA. So I have a real good thumb on the pulse of what casual people think and know. And we sell merchandise for the UFC, so I'm aware of what kind of perception it has for people who don't actually follow the sport. But yeah, I don't know. I watch way too much fucking MMA to be considered casual any day of the goddamn week.
No, I never called you a casual fan. You just sometimes talk like one.
Oh, you're such a fucking idiot.
See you next month, Andrew Lawrence.
I'm about to sign off right now on the podcast, you piece of dirt. Talk like a casual fan.
So
I talk like a casual fan. You ain't never even seen a Don Fry fight. Sit down. Sit down, Nicholas.
I saw the crazy one against, whoever, the bang, bang,
against
bang,
whoever.
bang, bang.
Exactly. Sit down. Sit down.
Okay, last order of business before
you made this your life and you don't even know who Takayama is. Come on, bro.
Kyoji or Gucci versus Eden McCall. Who wins?
Gucci, man.
There you go. Gucci by knockout?
Maybe Gucci by decision.
I'm going to go Kyoji Horiguchi by TKO in round 2.
Who do you
There
got,
you go.
Tenzin or Nakamura in the co-main event? Kickboxing fight.
I got to go tension.
Of course, man. Nakamura is like an MMA fighter. How are they going to make him fight a kickboxing fight? It's Tenzin, man. He's going to fucking annihilate him. Is there anything else you're looking forward to on Risen that you know about? Darren Cruikshank's fighting.
Yep.
Darren Cruikshank's always an event at Risen. He's usually wearing the American trunks. He's rocking a diesel stash. It's awesome.
I just want. He has the beard. Jeez.
Such what beards look like.
Yeah, it's a very
the long Canadian winter.
The
long Canadian winter has rotted your brain.
The mustache is a beard, of course he does.
Jesus.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the heavyweight fights. I don't know anything about them, but young heavyweights in Ryzen, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, dog. Let's just get some big dudes in here to kill each other. That's gonna be fun, man.
Time for Gets It Doesn't Get It.
Oh yeah, hit us. I don't have the Gets It Doesn't Get It list, so you're gonna have to read them all.
First one, UFC finally will induct the UFC creator and co-founder Art Davie into the Hall of Fame this summer, July 5th at the International Fight Week Hall of Fame ceremony. Does UFC get it or not get it for that?
Oh, gets it. Yeah, man. I know that, probably during the Zuffa era, this would have never happened. But now that we're like under some weird corporate ownership, some hegemony, yeah, let Art Davies get his day in the sun. I met Art Davies once randomly. Cool as fuck, dude. Just nice.
You met him, you said?
Yeah. Nice, salt of the earth dude. Just like real cool guy, funny guy. Had cool stories. Good chat. So, salute to you, Art Davies. Thanks for creating this shit show.
Yeah, Art Davie is a great guy, and the fact that it's like the one guy who created this, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I wouldn't know what MMA is, and no one would know. It's kind of crazy how he sort of started it all. I interviewed him on Sunday, so that'll be up tonight, hopefully, probably tomorrow actually, but that'll be up very soon. But I think the UFC gets it. I mean, Art Davie deserves to be inducted a whole while back.
He should have been in the very first class, but.
Yeah, because he started it. There's no one more important in the sport, if we're being honest, than Art Davie. But the fact that he is inducted is good. It's just a little late, but better late than never. So the UFC definitely does get it here for inducting Art Davie into the Hall of Fame this summer. Tim Bissell, writer over at BloodyElbow.com, my colleague, he put out a funny tweet. Not nothing to talk about for long, but I just wanted to give him kind of props. I laughed at it. He says he's this is promoting an article. The article headline is "One-time amateur MMA fighter arrested for head kicking swans in Florida." Only Bloody Elbow does that type of fantastic work. His tweet is.
That sounds like a Middle Easy article. You sure you're trying to get a job over on our side of the fence, buddy?
Bissell tweets out, me, as in this is what he's saying or thinking. Me, I want to write something that leaves a lasting positive impact on all of humanity. Also me, Florida man arrested for practicing karate on swans. And so that gave me a little chuckle. That was good.
Friend of the podcast, Timmy Bissell. Love you, brother.
Tim Bissell.
Good job.
Yes. Okay, last but not least, Scott Coker, the Bellator president and CEO. He says last Saturday after Fedor versus Mir at the post-fight media scrum, whatever it was, he says that he's not interested in signing Ben Askren if Funky is only interested in one fight. Coker said that Askren, from everything he's heard, only really wants to come back for sort of a one-off fight, maybe fight Rory McDonald, fight someone else, but sort of a one and done. Scott Coker's not too interested in that. Should he be? Does he get it or not get it?
No, he doesn't get it, and I don't think he's even being honest. He knows that Ben's locked up in a contract with one, and that's really what's going on here. Not that he's only interested in one fight. He would take a one fight deal with Ben Askren immediately. Come on, let's not be stupid.
I have to agree with that. Scott
This
Coker,
is a man who signed Roger Huerta for a fight against Benson Henderson in goddamn Tel Aviv or wherever the fuck they had that fight. Come on, dog.
I know. It's kind of crazy that these words came out of his mouth. I don't believe it for 1 second. If Ben Askren says, "Hey Scott, I'll fight for you for Bellator for one fight. I'll fight Rory McDonald. I win the title. I go away. I lose the title. I go away as well." He's taking that deal. He's paying Ben Askren And well, actually, now that I do think about it, if it is for the title and he wins, that kind of makes kind of a weird scenario. But he'd still probably do it. He'd still. I mean, Ben Askren.
Come on. You just sign a clause in there that, like, yeah, you win the title, you got to fight at least one more fight. Come on, let's not be stupid here.
I suppose
This is some nonsense thing that a promoter says because they don't want to tell you the reality of the situation. That's all.
Well, and because he basically here he's trying to get Ben Askren to sort of change his mind and say, "Hey, Scott, I'll take 3 fights instead." That's what he's doing.
No, he's got to negotiate with one to get him out of the contract. That's the biggest problem here.
But after that, I mean, even after if that happens, if Ben's only wanting to do 1 fight, this sort of will try and change his mind. But nonetheless, I don't think Scott Cook gets it here. Andrew Lawrence, it is time.
Dumb questions.
Our first dumb question comes from Brad Wharton, the
legend,
the play-by-play man for Cage Warriors.
Oh, okay. If you want to tell credits, okay, whatever.
Yes, I have to. Brad Wharton is a man. He says,
"The hunter of affordable pints across the land of Europe."
He says, "I've just come out of the Avengers Infinity War and an absolute emotional wreck."
That's a film, in case you were wondering, Nicholas. I know in Winnipeg you don't get such cultural things like the Avengers, but it's a film that's going on in the rest of the world right now.
I've heard about it a little bit. It seems pretty popular.
You'll get it in a few months.
If you could assemble a team of 5 MMA Avengers of any era to defeat Thanos, who would be on your team?
Have you seen the movie yet?
I have not.
Well, it's shocking. You've done nothing in your life that isn't MMA related.
Have you?
Yeah, I saw it. Go take a girl to see Avengers. That's your homework for this week. Find a female woman in the world who will go see Avengers with you, even if it has to be like as last resort your mom.
I was gonna say, if I take my mom, does it still count?
Yeah, it counts, but that's like the weakest date night in the history of the world. But like, you know, I've taken my mom out on a date night, bought her dinner. You know, you gotta show mom some love every once in a while.
I can put my cat on a leash, and
dude, that's like so much more disturbing than just going out with your mom.
No, I know. Like, imagine if I took my cat out to the movies.
No, I could imagine it. This isn't
effed up people would think I am.
Yeah. You know, it's like one of those
actions are like, it's like a picture is worth 1,000 words.
It's kind of one of those things about like bad publicity. Like, there's no such thing as bad press. At least people would be talking about you, you know?
Behind my backs.
If you rolled in like mad confident into the movie theater with your cat on a leash and be like, "This is my emotional support cat. It's a service animal registered with this," and you just slap the documents on the table and you're like, "Now give me a discounted ticket to a senior's discounted ticket, disabled discounted ticket. I want the handicapped seat in the theater, motherfucker, and a free popcorn." If you did it with the right amount of confidence, not only would they do it, but then everyone would be like, "Yo, why is Nick absolutely insane? Like, what happened?" Everyone in your high school would respect the fuck out of you.
Yeah, maybe.
They'd be like, "Why did you bring your cat?" And you'd be like, "Dude, I was on 2 hits of acid. I had no fucking clue what I was doing."
All right. Okay, so we need to assemble this team. Who you going for?
All right, assembling my team.
One sec. I'm thinking we should do it so we don't have the same fighters. You pick one, then I pick one, and you want to do it sort of back.
Nicholas, there's no way you can pick the same fighters as me because I'm absolutely not a casual, and you're absolutely
go for it.
Phil Baroni, and I'm talking about Pride Era juiced up Phil Baroni. In fact, if I could clone Phil Baroni 4 more times, that would be my team. Phil Baroni, Mark Hamill, Kevin Randleman, Don Fry, and just so we have a bad boy in the group, Tank Abbott. Thanos with just Tank Abbott, Thanos is fucked.
I'm gonna go Francis Ngannou,
casual.
Anthony Rumble Johnson,
casual.
The soldier of God himself, Yoel Romero.
Such a good pick. I can't be upset.
Yep. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go Demetrius Johnson.
Casual.
I like Demetrius Johnson. He can do some cool stuff. He's super.
Well, he could probably like armbar the Infinity Gauntlet. Spoilers for fucking.
Yeah, he is.
Never mind.
Cut.
Edit it out.
One more I need. I need an older fighter with the knowledge.
You don't know any fight. You don't know any fighters. You don't even know all fighters. Oh, you're so casual.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Let's see who it's from. It is from Ed. Ed MMA tweets on Twitter. Go follow him. He says, senior yearbook quotes for each UFC champion.
Whoa, okay. Let's bring up a list of UFC champions so that we don't forget any. Start us off with the easy ones. We'll start high to low. Sure. Stipe Miocic.
I'll save your cat from the tree.
And it'd probably be something like, like rad times, guys. He'd be that guy. Always remember all my best friends. He's the guy who still talks to people in his high school, Or
it'd be like, OH. The thing after he did the Alistair Rosen fight?
Sure. Yeah. Dude, what do you think OH stood for there?
Oh, he said OH. They said I.
What do you think it stands for? Oh, okay. I was just hoping.
Yeah, your fingers crossed I would get that. Right?
Exactly.
If I said ordinary.
I'm so happy. Ordinary heroes. Like I would have just died. I would have never recovered. Okay, Daniel Cormier. He'd be like, I think he'd be like, it's all right, slugger. He seems like a dad figure. It's like sometimes we all learn lessons, buddy. Seems like a thing Daniel Cormier would say.
He'd say something like, "I'll miss the trips to what's the place he likes that I remember."
The place he likes.
It's the chicken.
Popeyes.
He'd say something like, "I'll miss the lunch trips to Popeyes with my friends."
No, you know what? He's the type of dude who'd write some corny ass inspirational stuff. He'd be like, "Success is 90% perspiration, 10% inspiration."
That'd be John Jones.
No, John Jones would write some Jesus shit and then secretly be fucking smoking L's in the back.
Robert Whittaker.
Some Australian shit. What do Australian people say?
I feel like Robert Whittaker would
stop calling me Bobby Knuckles, mate.
He wouldn't have a senior quote.
Yeah, he'd be the guy who forgot to fill in the paperwork for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Tyron Woodley would absolutely put some fake ass dumb inspirational shit.
Or
be like, mindset and mentality is 90% of your success or failure in life. And then he'd be his own quote. It would be like a quote that he wrote, but he'd just like changed a few words of a very famous quote.
I could see that. Or, I mean, it's sort of the whole angle, like, the UFC isn't, like, all the fans don't like Tyron Woodley, like MMA fans. I think maybe that would translate to high school as well. He's like, all you haters out there, he talked about his haters.
He talked about his haters. Yeah, his high school haters. Yes. Here's one thing about haters that I just want to say in general. Like, if you have an abundance of haters, like, it's okay to have a few haters because the internet is right. No, that is if you have a few haters. Now, if you have a ton of haters, there's then also a great possibility that you're just fucking up and you're just a douchebag. Yep. It's important to consider both sides.
Yes, it is.
All right, are we going to call the lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov? Who are we going to call the lightweight champion?
Khabib.
Okay, whatever.
Khabib,
he'd say some stupid Russian phrase. Who gives a shit? No, genuinely. I know that some people get like entertained by things that Khabib says, but for me, it's like, when has he ever said anything that's actually really cool? Never. Nothing.
Max Holloway. Welcome to the blessed era.
Yeah, blessed era's best. Why, baby? Shit like that. Yeah, be talking all that pigeon. It'd be awesome.
From there, we go to TJ Dillashaw.
I feel like TJ is a person who would hit us with some fake ass, like motivational shit too. Maybe not.
I feel like we're saying the fighters will give inspirational quotes, like all the champions that do, or like the more.
But that's how fighters do. That's how fighters are.
Yeah, I think what would he say? Shout out to the high school wrestling team. I don't know. He'd say something like that.
He'd be like, "I'll miss you so much, Dwayne. Love you." He'd shout out his teacher that he loved. that he's like, I really miss you, Mr. Blah, 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 from our wrestling team. Thank you so much for everything you ever did for me.
Demetrius Johnson would definitely be like, hey guys, check me out on Twitch, twitch.com/Mighty Mouse.
Exactly. Use it as a spot to pump his
If only Twitch was around when he graduated high school.
Could have been. I don't know. If someone told me that Demetrius Johnson was actually like 22, I'd believe him.
Maybe. Okay, so from there we go to Chris Cyborg.
Who could even understand what you would say? I don't know. Chris Cyborg. I don't know.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, don't judge me. That's actually pretty spot on.
Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, just something boring for sure. Something boring.
Nunes or Cyborg?
Nunes.
Yeah.
Has she ever said anything really interesting that you've been like, shit, hold the phone?
No, she hasn't.
I don't mean to be mean about people. I'm in a mean mood today, and I'm clear. And I know I've been just like roasting a lot of folks.
You really are in a mean mood.
But it's like I'm being real about it too. Let's be honest about some shit.
No, honesty is key. That's what I think.
A lot of people don't say interesting shit. It's not like that they're not good fighters, and it doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just sometimes you don't say anything that's interesting because you're not a talker. You're a fighter. It's a good thing.
Amanda Nunes would definitely it'd be an inspirational quote off the internet.
Maybe it's something from The Lion King.
I am the lioness. I don't know.
Just stop. Yeah, that was unnecessary. If you ever edited these podcasts, that called for it. Nico Montagna. Let's not forget about the flyweight champion, Nico Montagna. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
I'm just a regular girl.
I don't know why Ariel Hawani's shitting on me. She'd probably say something like ragging on the popular girls.
Yeah, I think she would. Nico Montagna would say something like, "You can be mean to me now, but when I hire you, when I'm the business owner of whatever,
sure,
don't say shit to me."
Yep. And then Rose Namajunas.
Thug Rose Namajunas.
She would say something about like, I wish people could all just love one another and get along, be a good person. It's most important to be a good person. Title belts don't mean shit.
Yeah.
That was probably the greatest moment in UFC history, to watch someone win a title and say titles don't mean shit.
That was so funny.
Even though she went to like an inspirational place and went sincere with it afterwards, which normally I'm very against. I just to watch someone be like, nah, fuck these titles, they don't mean shit. I was like,
out of all the UFC champions, I would really like to see what Rose was like in high school. Because she the whole thuggish side of her, but then also she's just like, be a good person. So
didn't she reveal she never graduated from high school? Or did I invent that shit in my head?
I've never heard that. I mean, maybe it's true, but you're also smoking, so,
and I've also been known to just entirely invent shit all the time. Yeah. Well, like, sometimes in my brain, I kind of forget where, like, my imagination and then facts end, which is fun, For
Rose's quote
follow a very serious journalist.
Rose's quote would definitely be, always remember to be a good person. Thug Rose signing out. Or signing off, I should say.
No, it turns out she was a senior year wrestler at Milwaukee High School of the Arts. So, unfortunately,
you are wrong yet again.
She probably did graduate high school. Someone recently told me someone didn't graduate high school, and I was like, holy shit, that's insane.
Do I know someone we need to think of a grad quote for?
Who?
Me.
Let's not. We always got to make it about you, and then like.
No, but for real, my grad quote is due in 4 hours, and I don't know one yet.
Oh my god! Okay, you have to pick an MMA quote, like the dumbest MMA quote.
I don't want it to be MMA though.
Nicholas, it's kind of happy. You made your brand. Now fucking live with it.
I used to be verified on Twitter, but then I changed my username.
You were verified? Well, anyone can get verified. You just go through the process of getting verified. Super easy.
Not anybody can get accepted.
Anyone.
Okay. Next time we talk, you better have a blue check mark or else.
No, because you have to like send them like a copy of your ID, and there's a whole process, dude. There's a process now.
Yeah, but they don't. I mean, I got denied 3 or 4 times before they accepted me.
That was the old school way. They don't do that anymore. things have changed in the Twitterverse, baby.
All right, whatever.
Well, you should say, I'm gonna beat you into the living death. The famous Ken Shamrock rant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can't be inappropriate. I'd be very intrigued to see whether or not they would like flag that and be like, maybe going a little too far on that one.
Yeah, a little bit. I think I still remember my high school yearbook quote.
What was it?
I think it was a Lily Tomlin quote, and it was, I'm afraid of being a successful person in a mediocre world. That's some profound shit, dog.
Yeah, I want mine to be funny.
Yeah, but you're not funny, so that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I know. I was parking today, and
already I'm tired of the story.
I was parking today, and as I'm turning in, like doing the parallel parking thing, I say out loud, definitely hitting the curb in 3, 2, 1, and right as I said 1, I did. And the person in the back's like, "There's your grad quote." I don't know though. It's not like
there you go.
Right,
grad quote. Well, like, do you want a quote of what you said, or are you gonna put someone else's quote up there?
Probably not. Well, I was considering.
See, this is when never reading books and never consuming any media that doesn't involve MMA backfires on you, Nick.
I'm going to go see the Avengers right now, and then I'll quote.
Even an Avengers quote? Yeah, that's.
I was considering.
Give him a Thanos quote for sure. Give him a Thanos quote.
I was considering quoting Mike Wazowski.
Who that?
Have you ever seen Monsters Inc?
Oh, yeah, okay. Why not? Sure.
I don't know. It's doing 4 hours though.
Who would ever give a fuck, no matter what you write?
A lot of people would.
Dude, I didn't submit a picture for my high school yearbook.
Yeah, but you're you and I'm me.
Hey, you should learn to give less of a fuck, because clearly you don't care, really, in your heart of hearts.
No, I care.
No. Not enough to read a goddamn book.
48 hours more, so I care.
I don't care. That's like the level of concern that a person of your age can put forth. That's the maximum level. All right. Anything else in this show, or are we just going to bore these people to death?
I think we're done. I think we're done boring these people to death. So episode 161 of the MMA Circus in the books. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. And keep it locked to my Twitter to find out what I do eventually decide as my grad quote. Andrew, remind everybody where they can follow you. They probably don't forget or don't remember just because you haven't been here for so long.
At The Clown Kid on Twitter. You can find my writing at Middle Easy. Follow at Middle Easy on Twitter too. I don't do any other forms of social media, so if you want to hit me up, hit me up there, baby. I don't think I ever had a MySpace.
Pinterest, LinkedIn.
My wife does. Yeah, I do, but I ain't accepting friends, especially not you.
What if you say like see in half an hour, Nick Baldwin wants to connect with you on LinkedIn? Do you just like
decline, report? Yeah, decline, report this. Yeah. I'm going to report you for. I'll probably accept you.
That's kind of
You want to be my LinkedIn buddy? Be my LinkedIn buddy.
All right. You guys can find me on the Twitter at Nick Baldwin MMA. You can find all of my writing over at bloodyelbow.com. I just uploaded a few interviews. Well, one's up right now. Later on, we'll have some more. Louis Smolka, who got back into the winning column last weekend. Talked to him. Talked to Rob Font, who faces Rafael Assunção at UFC 226 this summer. Talked to Kevin Lee, who, of course, defeated Edson Barboza just over a week ago. And I talked to the UFC creator himself, Art Davies. So those will all be up. The Smolka one's up now, and the other 3 will be up later tonight and or tomorrow. You guys can find the MMA Circus on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Google Play, here on YouTube, SoundCloud, bloodyelbow.com, TuneIn, Pocket Casts, Player FM, Overcast, Podcast Addict, and pretty much anywhere else you can find a podcast. So go check it out. Go rate us, review us, subscribe. If you're watching and or listening on YouTube, go give us a thumbs up down there. And when you're done listening to this, go hit the MMA Circus button down there and then the subscribe button. We would really appreciate that. And if you have any feedback for the show, good or bad, leave a message in the comment section down below, and I will reply to you if needed. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. For Andrew the Clown Kid Lawrence, I'm Nick Baldwin, and we're out.